Speedpaint is the product that I'm holding in my hand. The moment these were announced, I knew that I had to have a look at them. But this is something I felt like I needed to see at a more reasonable price for me. If somebody's spending money on a big box set, they should be coming like that. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be painting with these today, but you will be seeing these featured in future videos. Hello, future people. So here we are. This has been coming for quite a while. It's been quite a number of months since I first did the unboxing of the Army Painter Speedpaint. And there's been a lot of talk around the Speedpaint, both positive and negative. Something I very quickly realized after doing my unboxing was that I wanted to do something that I haven't seen anybody else do, which, quite frankly, was a long-term review of the product. And look, I'm certainly not discrediting anybody that's already gave opinions on this product, whether those opinions are positive or negative. The thing about paint as a product that I think a lot of people overlook is a lot of opinion is very subjective. Realistically, there's not actually very many bad paints on the market. I certainly have my opinions, but at the end of the day, that doesn't make that statement true. It just means, personally, I don't approve of that product because it doesn't do what I want it to. When it comes to Speedpaint, obviously, the big comparison a lot of people have made has been against contrast. I did the same thing when I was first opening it, but that's not the be-all and end-all. I want to start by talking about the elephant in the room, so to speak. So, the very big talking point around Speedpaint as a product for quite a long time was the reactivation issue. The reason I want to talk about that first and foremost is because despite a lot of the talk around it, fact of the matter is it's never been a fault with the product. It was designed to work that way on purpose. If you want to look into this, it's very easy to find this information. Army Painter have spoken about it more than once. It was designed to do that, to prevent the pooling problems that contrast has. And from that perspective, as you can see with the pictures that I'm going through on your screen, it works very well. I haven't done anything different with these models than any other contrast that I've used. And in all honesty, I'm extremely happy with how these models have all turned out. As a product, I've been extremely pleased with how the Army Painter works. I only have one regret. Only one. From the very first moment I've been using this product, and contrast too for that matter, I've had a very specific way that I've been using them. I prime everything in black. I do a very aggressive zenithial highlight in white. You can find videos on me doing this. And then I use contrast just like anything else. Why do I have regrets? Because there's this thing that became really popular recently, slap chop, which is essentially what I've been doing for years at this point. And somebody else has put the video out there and become really successful. And I've looked at that and gone, damn, I wish I'd thought of sharing this. It's the only regret I have. Slap chop is an amazing way, and honestly, it is the way that I would recommend that you do it. I do mine with an airbrush. You don't need to do it that way. You can definitely dry brush. When it comes to this product, there's a couple of things that I would like to see a wider range of colors, most certainly. At the end of the day, my experience with the Army Painter Speedpaints has been extremely positive. I've used it on a number of different models. All of my Bakemono from Bushido have been painted with these. I also went to a different level and I actually used them on a different project. The T-Rex from Conquest that I was showing off recently used the speed paint alongside traditional paints. I didn't really talk about this much at the time because the reason I did it that way is I wanted to see how they looked together. And much to my surprise, you almost can't tell that certain parts of this are speed paint. I could tell you which parts they are, but I'm curious if you know what bits they are. Leave a comment down below and tell me if you what you think I used it on, and I'll tell you if you're right or not. There are parts of it where I have highlighted over the top of it, but there's also parts of it where I have just used speed paint and nothing else as well. And the reason that I'm surprised by this is, quite frankly, if you was to try and do that with contrast, it wouldn't work because you would instantly be able to tell, because it comes up like the finished result is very different from most other paints. I've been very, very, very pleased with this. I do have to say, like, there is a couple of colours I wasn't a huge fan of. The white, I honestly found the white just came out as a really solid grey. It just didn't work for me. I also wasn't a huge fan of the final results with Malignant Green, as well as Camo Cloak. I mean, they're okay. They just don't feel as solid as the other colours. There's very clearly some serious colours missing. In saying that, there's also been an announcement recently where there is a significant amount of colours that's going to be added to this range. They have also announced that they are going to be fixing the reactivation issue, which again was actually it's not a fault with the product. It is a feature of the product that a lot of people have not enjoyed, and that's why they're changing it. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I want to tell you about the competition that we're running through our Patreon. For every month of support you give our Patreon, from now until April next year, you will receive one entry into the competition that we're running to win a Shaltari fleet for Drop Fleet Commander. That includes a Shaltari Dreadnought, a Shaltari Starter Set, a Shaltari Frigates box, and a Shaltari Cruisers box. All of this will be sent to one winner. This winner will be drawn at random on our 4th anniversary, which is recorded at the beginning of April. For us to be allowed to send this to you, you need to fit 2 categories. You must be living in a country where it's legal for me to post you something from Australia. You also must be living in a country where it is legal to win competitions. If you do not live in a country that meets these criteria, then I do apologise. There's nothing that I'll be able to do, and I will be forced to redraw it. Please consider supporting us. We'd really appreciate it. All of this was purchased with my own money. No Patreon funds were used for this. None of this is sponsored. I purchased this personally. Honestly, I really like how the product works now. I don't know if I'm happy to see it go. I find it really frustrating because there's been this false narrative put out there that it's a problem with the product, that it's a fault with the product, which is just simply not true. It was designed into the product quite deliberately to avoid a problem, and I really enjoyed it. Also, quite frankly, I've had no problem with it at all. There are ways that you can avoid it being a problem. Now, obviously, if you paint over the top of one colour with another, that's where you're going to start having this problem. But if you're careful with where you line them, if you're careful with how you use them, or if you varnish and then use again, you will prevent that. The thing with speed paints and others, quite frankly, is just a matter of knowing how to use them. Yeah, in saying that, like I said, most of the audience for the product haven't enjoyed that feature, or have misunderstood what it was supposed to be achieving. I found it worked really well when it came to things like blending. It really helped with things like that. Hopefully the new formula works just as well. That's just going to be a matter of time at this point. I'm looking forward to seeing what colours do come out. The thing I think we really need to see at this point is we need some more skin tones. We need some more prime colours. We need some more bright, flary colours as well. The colours that we do have all tend to kind of push in the same direction-ish. Like, all of the reds are kind of very similar. A lot of the colors I would like to have, like I'd like to have a really pure pink or a really pastel looking pink. I would like to have a deeper purple. I'd like to have some more cold colors. I'd like to have some actual pure prime colors. There's not really a pure yellow. I mean, there are yellows, and the yellows that we've got do work, but I'd like to have a proper bright yellow rather than these tones of yellow. But as far as a product is concerned, in all honesty, Army Painter hit this out of the park. I think that Army Painter have done really well with what they're looking at for their next stage with this project, with bringing in YouTubers to help them see where the product goes in the next stage and give opinions on colours and formulate their own colours. I think that's a really smart idea. Obviously, I'm not involved in that. I doubt that they even know I exist. But if you haven't checked out Speedpaint, honestly, I think you should. Do you need to buy the Mega Set like I did? No. In saying that, it's not that expensive. I'm very, very curious what the next line is going to be. I'm hoping that we get like an update box, which is all of the colors that we don't own already. Kind of like the next Mega. So you get the colors that you're missing. Essentially, I'm hoping that's what they do as part of this, even if it's a temporary box. Just because I can see a lot of people wanting to buy all of the colors at once and probably hoping for a bit of a discount. You don't usually get a huge discount on these things. You usually get a little bit. But I think that would be something that would be really good to do for their customer base. But like I said, as far as long-term reviews is concerned, I think Speedpaint has become a staple of the industry. I do think it's a better product than Contrast. The range is not as big as Contrast, and that is definitely a downside. But as far as how the product works, I prefer this to Contrast. You've made it through to the end of another video. Your next mission is to hit subscribe and comment down below. If you'd like to reach out to the team, consider doing that, gettingtabled@gmail.com. Consider subscribing to our Patreon. For only $2 a month, you get early access to almost every single video that we do. Our most active social media is facebook.com/gettingtabled. It's where you'll find everything first. There's also a Discord. There's an invite on screen right now. If you type that in, it'll give you instant access. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. It's not the most active, but it's something we're trying to use more all the time. Come and check out Jason the Bruce at Twitch. He does both video game and hobby content. And of course, without question, play more games.